Hello. Hi, everybody. We welcome you to our emotional wellness during the holiday Zoom call. We'll get started as close to on time as possible. We just want to make sure we get everybody in that wants to get in. How's everybody?
Good.
Good. This is a weird place for me not to really be in the space with people.
Jenny, you want to put your screen up?
You can't see my screen?
Can you see the screen?
I can see it.
I can see it.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Oops.
Can you not see it, Javon?
There we go.
No, I just see everybody.
I have everybody on the right-hand side,
Okay.
but
I can see the emotional wellness during the holiday screen.
Okay, good.
and it should be taking up the whole,
Right.
yeah, great.
And Javon's name is on the right side.
Good old Javon. Hi,
Only her
Jan
name. Hi, good morning.
and Brenda. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Morning, Wayne.
Morning.
Thanks for coming on.
So I know we have about 1 more minute, but we really do want to give everybody a chance to join who wants to join. So if we start 1 minute after, we may do that. And those of you who are just joining, we are so glad that you're here. We're very excited for our first little collaboration with Child Abuse Prevention Task Force and Brevard Public Schools.
Morning.
Good morning.
How are you, Jeannie?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yes.
Mm.
All right. Well, I do like to start on time. So I'm starting at 10:01. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Ginny Gleason, and I'll probably turn my video, I'll probably turn my video off once our presenters start so that you can focus on those presentations. We are very excited to be doing this collaboration with the Child Abuse Prevention Task Force. It's an amazing committee, and we're going to start by sharing some information about that, and I will introduce Kevin Carrero, who will talk a little bit about that. But before we get started, I just want to share a little bit of housekeeping. we just want to remember that if we can remain on mute, and if you have any questions, certainly put them in the chat box. Our main focus today is to share information with you that you are going to be able to take with you, hopefully in your daily life, maybe share with other families. We just want this to be something that is meaningful for you. Our presentations will be short. We hope to do this all in 1 hour. And if we go a couple minutes over, be flexible with us. It's our first time. And then finally, I would love to get your feedback. We'd love to hear from you and let us know what you thought of our presentation today. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you, Kevin, to share a little bit about our collaboration and especially about the Child Abuse Prevention Task Force.
Sure. Great. Thank you very much, Ginny. Appreciate it. For those of you that don't know, Ginny's awesome. She pulled this together in about a week and a half, 2 weeks time. Was definitely the driving force behind it. So we appreciate her so much. So really quickly, super proud of the team to get this up and running. Child Abuse Prevention Task Force, or CAPTIF, as it's fondly known of. Essentially, we're a nonprofit organization. We're comprised of basically volunteers from a community wide array of agencies. So there's there's some agency sponsorship, but really we're focused on a group of people that kind of come together for one single sort of thought process, and that is really trying to prevent child abuse. And we're out there raising awareness about child abuse through coordination, promotion, looking for opportunities to speak with families to help with strengthening, and our main focus is on, education, training, and community awareness. So we really have been, a part of the community now for, I want to say 20 plus years. I know I've been involved with CAPTIF since 2009. Recently took over the chair duties for outreach. So, that's all I really wanted to say is just that, we are out there really trying to focus on raising awareness for Child Abuse Prevention Task Force and ensuring that, that there are resources available, and we're really hoping that, you guys enjoy this this today, that, hopefully we can continue these. With COVID has come a whole lot of challenges, but one of the things is that, we're still able to connect with each other, even if it's by video, and it's a great opportunity to kind of use this technology for good. And just want to say thank you very much for attending today, and look forward to a great presentation. So thanks very much, Ginny.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kevin. It's a wonderful collaboration working with the Child Abuse Prevention Task Force. All right, so we're going to get started. I'm very excited to introduce to you Syrian Mechanico, and she comes to us as the lead parenting with love and limits therapist with Brevard Cares. And she's going to share with us today about how to get care and get through the holiday blues. So Syrian, take it away.
Thank you, Jenny. Good morning, everyone. I'm excited to be here this morning. Going to talk about the blues, the holiday blues. So let's go to, yes, thank you. Agenda for today. I'm gonna talk about, do I have the holiday blues? So I'm gonna kind of go over some symptoms that will help you to determine if you have the holiday blues or not. Then we're gonna talk about what causes these holiday blues anyway. And if you determine that you have them or that someone have them, we're going to answer the question, so what do I do now? What do I do if I have the holiday blues? And then there's going to be a short video that I hope will just brighten your day a little bit, put a little smile on your face, and give you, some hope and encouragement in this holiday season. So right into it. Do I have the holiday blues? So let's first define what holiday blues is. So it's a feeling of sadness that lasts throughout the holiday season, usually from November through December. So we're talking about Thanksgiving, Christmas, through New Year's Eve. We're talking about that particular season. Some symptoms: difficulty concentrating, feeling irritable, angry, bah humbug, feelings of exhaustion and fatigue, feelings of loneliness. And alone is different from loneliness. Just because you are alone, you don't necessarily you're not necessarily experiencing feelings of loneliness. Lack of pleasure in normal activities, things that you used to enjoy during the season, you don't enjoy. Sleeping much more or sleeping much less than normal, trouble making decisions, withdrawing from family and friends if you are normally engaged with them, and now all of a sudden you don't want to have nothing to do with them. You're not returning nobody's calls. You're not returning nobody's texts. Leave me alone. That's what we're talking about. And then I wanted to definitely make the point, you may have heard of a term called seasonal affective disorder. Holiday blues is not this. And in fact, in the current DSM-5, it's not even its own diagnosis officially. What you'll find is it's under the unspecified depressive disorder as a specifier, and it's called with seasonal pattern. And what that means is these symptoms occur in a certain season, and it's usually in the fall or winter seasons, because what normally tends to happen with this specifier is people experience these symptoms in the seasons that have less daylight hours. It's something about the increased darkness that correlates with this particular specifier. But again, this is throughout that season, so it's not the holiday blues. Holiday blues is specific to the holiday season, November through December. So what causes these holiday blues? Just exhaustion. You tired. You got so much going on. And I'm noticing, you know, in just what I do day to day, week to week, and just dealing with even people I know on a personal level, this is a big one. Everybody's got so much going on that they can't even find the time to just return somebody's text or return somebody's call. Well, I had this, I had that, and it's, I'm telling you, it's getting out of hand. Financial difficulties, buying stuff you can't afford is a huge one. If you can't buy $200 Jordans, don't get it for little Timmy. It just don't do it. I don't care how little Timmy cry, how little Timmy beg, please, mama, please. If you can't do it, don't do it. And you are not a bad parent for not doing that. You are staying within your budget. Not being able to go home for the holidays. And this is a reality, particularly in this time with COVID-19. You know, I'm hearing a lot about, you know, travel not being recommended in many cases. Families, they wanted to come home, but, you know, because of whatever's going on in their area, or maybe there's some COVID-19 concerns, they couldn't go. And that's okay. That's okay. Doesn't make you a bad person because you couldn't travel. Nostalgia for holidays of the past. You know, grandma ain't here no more, and I can't get her gingerbread cookies, and it just ain't like it used to be. You know, thinking about the past and not being able to fully engage in the present and look at how can you enjoy the holiday season in the present. Poor social support, isolation, and loneliness. So sometimes in this state, what I have found is uh, you may have people in your support system that you just don't even acknowledge or realize. Because support systems, especially now in this time, may look different. You know, the village may look different than what you are accustomed to from the past. It may not be the next door neighbor no more. It may not be, you know, biological family. It might be a coworker. It might be your supervisor, you know, depending upon your relationship with them. Stress, stress, stress. Oh my Lord. A lot of folks are stressed out for all the reasons prior to stress on the list. Stress, 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 and then not having mechanisms in place to cope with stress is a huge, huge contributing factor. The strain of dealing with extended family, particularly if you don't get along. So if family comes over for Thanksgiving or Christmas and you don't like Aunt Lula Mae, and Aunt Lula Mae is getting on your nerves, it can cause some holiday blues. Unrealistic expectations, you know, so you can't fly to Aspen this year for Christmas and ski down the slopes, but you really wanted to and you can't do it, and now you got the blues. But was it really a realistic expectation? You know, probably not if you're a social worker in this field and you thought you could fly the family to Aspen. You were probably setting an unrealistic expectation. But of any kind, unrealistic expectations definitely contribute to the holiday blues. So once we determine, you know what, I might have the holiday blues, what do I do about it? What do I do now? So here are a list here of some coping strategies that you can do. Number one, it doesn't say drink alcohol. It says avoid excessive alcohol. Why? Because you're thinking a good drinker helped me get through Aunt Lula Mae. You know, she's the one driving me to drink anyway. And we're not saying don't drink at all. A glass of wine with your dinner, okay. One glass, you know, two, you know, whatever your max. But excessively, you know, I'm gonna just get wasted to waste my blues away is not recommended, because what tends to happen is you get drunk and okay, in your intoxicated state, you forget about the blues, the reds, the greens, the oranges, and everything else. But then once you come out of that state, now you might be feeling even deeper into the blues than you were before. So we suggest and highly recommend avoid getting drunk to get through the holiday blues. Spend time with others. Now, again, this village, this support system, this group of folks you spend time with may not be your traditional mom, dad, siblings, or the next door neighbor. It could be co-workers. Jessica Miles, she's on, she don't mind me telling you, this past Thanksgiving, we decided, she and I, you know what, we're just gonna come together. You know, I'm down here, don't have family down here. She's just got mom down here, it's her family. And we decided to get together and do our own Thanksgiving dinner. And we put together our menu, and we had turkey and dressing, and let me tell you, Jessica put her foot in that macaroni and cheese. And let me tell you, I put my foot in that, what was it, sweet potato pie. And let me tell you, we ate till we about passed out. I know, I think I got a good nap in myself. So And we had a great time. It was wonderful. Exercise, y'all. It could just be a walk around the block. Get those endorphins flowing, and it's wonderful. Set limits. Just say no. Look, if you can't do it, you can't do it. No is okay. And again, set realistic expectations. If you can't fly to Aspen, that's okay. You might just have to go to Orlando. You might just have to stay at home in Melbourne. That's okay. Talk about your feelings. Don't be honest. How you doing, Syrian? Fine. You know, if you're not really fine, say so. Have somebody that you can talk to about your feelings. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a professional all the time. It could be a friend. It could be, you know, just someone that you trust enough to really get your honest, true feelings out. Volunteering is excellent. It takes the focus off of you and your situation. You have an opportunity to help somebody else, and helping somebody else always brings great feelings. It's awesome. Treat yourself to favorite holiday tradition. Grandmama's gone, can't cook the gingerbread cookies. Find her recipe and you bake the gingerbread cookies. Well, I don't cook. Well, okay, go buy some gingerbread cookies, or if that's what you like, and eat it and drink some milk and enjoy. You can still have the same holiday traditions, even though it might not be exactly like how it used to be back in the day. And I think the next slide is going to be the video, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So we have a cute little video. I hope that this encourages you and inspires you to be a light.
Come on, guys, hurry! Where is everyone? Why aren't the lights on?
I don't know, Sam. Seems like everything's off this year.
What's wrong with the lights?
Got me. Nothing's working. Hey, mind flipping that switch for me? Third time's a charm.
Wait, what? Wow. Huh? This is awesome.
Well, hello there, Sam.
Hi. What is all this?
Know when things are a little off? We turn them on.
What does this switch do?
That fixes bedhead.
What?
Oops, we might have to reverse that circuit.
Oh, what about that one there?
Replaces your goldfish with an exact replica.
Why would you need that?
No reason.
Well, what about that one?
That's the step springer. What are you looking for?
I wish there was a switch for my town.
Oh, Sam, there is no switch for that. But all people need is a little hope, a spark to light the way. And that can be in all of us, right here.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Be the spark.
Wasn't that beautiful? One person can be the spark that a whole town needs. And so I'm encouraging all of you and myself, let's be that spark this season. And when we focus on that, it will not only bring joy to others, but we will find ourselves filling up with joy on the inside as well. All righty, so that concludes how to cure the holiday blues. Any questions?
Syrian, this is Ginny, and I just want to say that your presentation was amazing, and I feel inspired and I feel better. And I hope that's how everybody else feels, that a lot of the feelings we may be feeling are normal, but there's certainly things we can do about it. If it's okay with you, if you can stay on until the end, we're going to save questions till the end if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Is that okay with you? Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for that inspirational presentation. And I think for me, the message is we can all be the spark for sure.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And it is my pleasure now to introduce Sarah Summey, and she is from Palm Point Behavioral Health, Director of Business Development. And she is going to present to us about holiday mindfulness. So I know I saw Sarah come on. If you could just step on in and get started. Thank you.
Perfect. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. As Jenny said, I'm Sarah. I'm the Director of Business Development over at Palm Point. I do have a clinical background. I'm also a registered yoga instructor. So not sharing any business development today. I really just wanted to share with you a few stress reduction techniques that you can use almost anywhere. I've done these on airplanes, in cars, at my desk, in school meetings, you name it. So these are just a few tricks that I've actually taken from what we would call in the clinical world, they're evidence-based techniques that are mostly dialectical behavioral therapy. And, you know, it's really, these were all developed based on what science has taught us about stress. So when we're faced with stressful situations, and we have either one acute onset of stress or just little stressors that go on day after day, and they continue to build up, which I feel like the entire year of 2020 has been that, just a reoccurring stressor day in, day out. I just want to talk a little bit about what happens to the body. So what is stress in our body? And essentially what's happening is our central nervous system starts to release hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline into the body. And the real reason why is because we're essentially just mammals. We're animals and we're made to be able to run away from danger. And so our body, our physical body, views stress as danger. So it starts to release these hormones to increase our heart rate, heighten our senses, make our blood pressure go up, and get us ready to run away really fast or to stay and fight. So what's known as flight versus fight. And the thing is the body doesn't really know how to differentiate stress from danger. So that's where we come in, and that's where we can use our skills, the DBT skills, or even CBT skills, if that's your thing, to settle the central nervous system and let the body know that the situation may be uncomfortable and it may feel bad, but at the end of the day, there's no actual danger and we can settle it down. So knowing what the body does when we're stressed, I just wanted to share with you 3 quick tips that you can use, 3 skills that you can use and teach your children or your students or your colleagues to be able to combat that stressful situation and get yourself out of that flight versus fight mode. So tip number 1 is what we call conscious breathing. It's a DBT skill that can settle the nervous system. It lowers the heart rate, it lowers blood pressure, it even drops the body temperature a little bit. So it settles the body. And it's one of the best ways that science has taught us can manage a sudden impact of stress. So when I say conscious breathing, we all breathe, whether we try to or not. But what we're going to do is just draw our attention to the breath and focus on the act of breathing, which eliminates the need to focus on the stress. So I wanted to do just a really quick exercise. It'll take about 45 seconds. And it's called box breath. And this is really fun to do with kids. We do it as a family sometimes before swim meets or big tests or just after a really bad day. So visualize in your mind a box, so a square, and it really consists of inhaling for a count of 5, holding for a count of 5, exhaling for a count of 5, holding for a count of 5, then repeating. And I recommend 2 rounds, and that tends to completely just kind of push a reset, and it really stops the brain from releasing those hormones. So if you would like to join with me, go ahead and just close your eyes and just take notice of how your body feels right this second and then I want you to notice how it feels afterwards. So closing the eyes and inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hold the breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold the breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can open the eyes and just notice if your body feels different. If you feel a little bit more settled, a little bit more at ease, you feel like maybe you can finish this meeting or whatever else that your day has. So that's something that you can do, and it's less than a minute. And you totally deserve to be able to press pause on whatever you're doing. So if you're stressed out at work, taking 1 minute out of your day isn't going to put you any further behind than you already are. So it'll actually kind of help you to reset and to really just manage through the stress. So sometimes, especially when we're in this profession of social services or behavioral health or healthcare, we don't really have the option to avoid stress. It's kind of a part of what we do, but we can find our way to have these tips and tricks to manage through it. The next tip is a super quick and easy, it's probably my favorite DBT trick that there is, and you can do it anytime and virtually anywhere, and it's called the half smile. And so science has taught us that when we see a smile or when we smile ourselves, it engages and activates the orbitofrontal cortex, which is the pleasure reward region of the brain. So we can essentially trick our brain into releasing dopamine and serotonin, our happy feel-good hormones, which are also natural stress reducers, by doing a quick half smile. So relaxing the face, turning the lips up slightly on the sides, and just doing that half smile. So let's do it together, relaxing the face and turning the lips up on the sides. So as simple as that. So take notice if you did start to feel at ease, if the body did start to come down and settle a little bit. Our brains are essentially like a computer, so they believe whatever we tell them. That's another reason why it's super important to pay attention to what we read, what we listen to, what we hear, and what we allow in our spaces, because our brains, they believe it. So if we tell our brain we're stressed out, it's stressed out, and it's going to prepare you to do all those things we talked about to run away from that stress. But if we give ourselves a half smile and we tell it that we're really happy, then it's also going to do what it needs to do to make sure that we get that pleasure reward for being happy. So you can do that anywhere. I like to do the half smile before I even get out of bed in the mornings, along with a little bit of meditation. You can do it in the car when a Florida driver cuts you off. That happens to everyone, am I right? Or in meetings, anywhere you can give yourself a half smile. And then the last trick is actually, it's part of the tip technique in DBT, and it's bringing some movement. It can be done by itself. I won't go into that whole thing. That's a whole lecture on itself. But most of us, myself especially, I hold a lot of stress in my neck and in my shoulders. So taking a few minutes to just stretch those out. And so these are 3 of my favorite stretches that you can do in less than a minute at your desk, in your car parked, of course, anywhere that you need to. So if you want to do them with me, you can. If not, just take note. I call it the hinge movement. I'm not a fan of neck circles because if you have any type of disc issues in your neck, you can easily slip a disc with neck circles. You can get the same results by just carving a line with the nose and looking up, and then chin to chest. So moving through that 2 times. And bring your head back to center. And then drop the right ear to the right shoulder. And then left ear to left shoulder. And I repeat each of them 2 times. And then the last one, bring the head back to center. I raise the hands up overhead, turn your palms up to the ceiling and then down behind your neck and just tip the shoulders down and then chin to chest. And let your shoulders just kind of go completely limp and it'll add a little bit of pressure and you'll get a nice stretch through the back of the neck and down through the shoulders. So there you have it. That is my DBT power guide for you to help you manage your stress. I hope that those tips and tricks help you. There's a few good websites if you want, I can drop them into the chat that has DBT for kids. So if you wanted to be able to teach some of these in a kid-friendly way, it's probably my favorite way to help manage stress. And we've used it pretty excessively through 2020. But thank you for having me. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Really appreciate your presentation. And I think one of the things that I'm taking away is it doesn't take but a couple minutes to do these techniques. And I know some of you were doing them as you were presenting, and I even tried, and it does have almost an immediate effect. So I definitely put those links in because we have a lot of parents on the call and we want them to be able to share these with their children for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. So are you getting the theme? We're trying to give you guys, you participants, as much support as possible to get through the holidays, but with specific tools to do it. And now we're going to move on to Lee, who is coming to us from Eckerd Connects. She is the program manager, the prevention program manager, and she is going to talk to you about talking and communicating with your children at home. Lee.
Thank you, Jenny. And I just want to thank everybody for joining today. I am going to just encourage you guys, if you are comfortable and in a place that works for this, if you are willing to participate by video, I definitely encourage that because we are discussing communication. And one of the things that we know about communication is how important it is to really connect with each other when we're trying to talk and when we're trying to hear each other. And some of the things that I have noticed in being a parent myself is just how challenging communication can be right now while we are living life through a pandemic. We are, confronting and handling things every single day that we're not accustomed to, and there are no rule books and reference sheets for how to manage this. And so some of the challenges that we're facing with communication is simply just being exhausted at the end of our day. As a parent and as an adult and a caregiver and a guardian, when we have really emptied our glass throughout the day with work and roles within our household, we just have so little to give in the evenings, but that's such a precious time with our children of all ages. And so I want to focus on 2 really important action steps that I feel like all families can utilize given the different age groups that may be, in your home. And so one of the first steps I want to encourage everyone to consider and to maybe go ahead and start talking about tonight is a family meeting. And I know as a parent myself, Just the title alone can be really intimidating. That sounds formal. So I want to change that image for you. And instead of thinking about it as a meeting, I want you to think about it like a planned time for everyone to check in with each other. This can be done and it's most effective if it is around the dinner table. So I want to encourage you, as part of your action steps and your plan for how to get this to actually happen, my encouragement would be pick one day a week. Start that conversation tonight with your partner, your spouse, the person that you parent with and live life with. Start that conversation with them tonight. What day of the week could that be? Is that a weekend night? Is it a weeknight? What time works with everyone? Do you come home exhausted? Do you need an hour or two to yourself before everyone can come together and sit in that shared space? And then I want to give you some other tips for that one night. So create some expectations and include your children in what those expectations should be. Get their feedback on what night and what time would work for them. Some of us may have teenagers that have sports or that have their own jobs, or that are very involved in their academics and are working really hard at night for different needs in the classroom. So together, create what those expectations are, and make sure, as the adults, that you're committed first. You're the role model, and you will really, truly set the tone. Something else I want you to think about is this does not have to be formal. It does not have to be a fully cooked meal. It could just be the night a week that you order out, that you pick up something easy and bring that to the table, so that your focus maybe isn't on the preparation of the meal, but the fellowship and the time together to actually check in with each other. And make it fun. Have a really good time with this. There's a fantastic website that I will make sure we put in the chat. And the website is familydinnerproject.org. This website has some very helpful tips, games, activities, recipes, you name it, it is all there. It will help you with all different age groups within the home, and can really be a great guide, a great starting point for how to get this going and how to stay committed to it. So I'll share, I have 2 teenagers, and so we commit to at least one meal together each week. I have a teen that works and has a car, so he is gone a lot. And so I would share with you, once you create those expectations and you have an agreed day and time, on the days that your teenagers are maybe giving negative feedback or kind of huffing and puffing about it, it's okay. Don't respond. You do not have to get into a discussion about why it's hard to do it that day. Maybe you planned on Wednesday, and by the time Wednesday got here, other things came up. So just allow them to be frustrated without, adding to it. Allow them to be heard. And then you can actually use that as part of your conversation that night. And talking about conversation, there are some really fun, simple games you can play at the dinner table. You can have questions that you write before dinner is ready, and you can put them in a jar or a bowl or a paper cup on the table. And you can pull those questions and spend that time checking in. You can also use something like the salt and pepper shaker or a napkin. You can use it as the talking stick and only the person that's holding that at the time can be the one that's talking. That's a great way to encourage those that are a little more quiet and a little more introverted to know that it's their turn to share. You can come up with open-ended questions are really great with our youth. It really will encourage them to speak more freely. So try phrases like, tell me more. How did that feel? And then really work as the parent or the guardian, really work on listening and really try to catch yourself and know, are we listening to then respond, or are we just listening and making sure that our kids feel heard? I think now more than ever, with the challenges we're facing every day during COVID-19, it's a really important time to make sure our kids know that we hear them and we hear how they feel. The second step, action step that I wanted to share with you guys, it can be a part of your family meeting, a part of your one night a week that you spend that special time together, or it can be totally separate. But I want to really encourage everyone to spend time finding enrichment activities right now. We are on the go so much. We're worried about our health, the health of our families. A lot of families are struggling with food and basic needs and employment and income. And so we're constantly walking through these challenges. And so some really simple ways to pull together the family and spend some additional time together would be having a family movie night. Right now we have our holiday movies that are out. One of my favorite things is Redbox because it's very affordable. Maybe have your teens show you how YouTube works. That's where a lot of our teenagers watch shows and movies now, and it's a good chance for them to be the leader and show you something new that you haven't been exposed to. Looking at lights, this is the season where a lot of people have light displays, and we're really blessed in Brevard County to have some outdoor light displays where you're encouraged to come and walk through those lights. So that's a really easy activity for all ages. Game nights are a lot of fun. Some of the most basic and simple games that you don't have to buy at a store, creating charades, creating trivia questions, even turning on Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune and watching that as a family can really be critical right now. I don't know if any of you have heard of, they're all the rage, but chocolate bombs. Do you guys know what those are? Yeah. So everybody loves hot chocolate, but new this year are these chocolate bombs that you can find in a lot of the stores and bake shops. And I would say, go for it. Give it a try. Buy a chocolate bomb. You put it in the coffee mug, you pour hot milk on it, and it opens up and marshmallows and sprinkles come to the top, and you stir it up. And I'm seeing that our kids, again, of all ages are just thinking that this is like the most creative thing they've ever seen. So what a fun way to surprise your kids with a little something that then turns into an activity. And maybe the activity turns into conversation and connectedness at a time when we can all feel pretty disconnected. So again, just to review and hit those highlights, familydinnerproject.org is a great website to go to. Start the discussion tonight. See if you can pick a night each week for the next 4 to 6 weeks. I challenge you, 4 to 6 weeks, pick a night, come together, maybe make a meal, maybe order out that night and pick up one of the family members' favorite meals, sit down at the table and ask each other questions or play a game. And then over the next couple of weeks, try to purposely find a fun, engaging activity. Go look at lights, sing carols in your home together, go buy a chocolate bomb. Let me know if you liked it. And again, set those expectations and follow them to the best that you can right now. So thanks, guys.
Lee, home run. Thank you so much. I know that what I'm going to do when I get home today is I'm going to call my son and daughter-in-law and say, hey, I'm going to own the idea. Hey, I have this great idea. One night a week. That is so doable. It's so doable. And I hope everyone on this call can really take away the importance of communication and connecting. I heard that loud and clear. Thank you so much, Lee. Appreciate it. And we're moving on now to our final presentation today. And we're going to hear from Michelle Wurzma, who is the program director with Kinder Consulting. And she is going to present on presence instead of presence. Michelle.
And I'm on mute, which is the annoying thing that everyone does, is talking while they're on mute. So we had to have one, right? So it was me. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. It's hard to follow those wonderful presentations, but I will try. So today we want to talk about presence instead of present. As everyone has kind of talked about, the pandemic has created, a situation for everyone where things are just a little bit different than they have been in the past. And also, a lot of financial constraints for folks. So we really want to look at what's important. And I think the pandemic, in one way, one good silver lining has given us an idea of that, the people are the most important things and not the stuff, So when you think back about your childhood, do you remember everything that you received? Do you remember all the gifts you received? What is the memories that you have of your holidays as a child? Most people don't remember the gifts that they received. If you think really back, maybe one or two that were really special, but a majority of them don't remember what they received. Most people remember other people. They remember people in their families. They remember some tradition, maybe a dish that was the special dish, kind of like what Syrian was saying, the gingerbread cookies. It's something about the situation and the family being together that is the memory that everyone has, or a funny story that everyone remembers is what's important in a family tradition. Research from Penn State University shows that small acts of kindness and not grand overtures make people feel the most loved and supported. So it's not necessarily that you walk outside on Christmas morning and there's, a Lincoln Continental, SUV with a bow in the front yard, but maybe that, someone cooked you hot chocolate with that new chocolate bomb that is the thing that is the most special, right, Lee? So it doesn't have to be big. It just has to be thoughtful. So that's why we want to choose presence, our physical presence and our emotional presence over presents, meaning gifts, because really your children just want you and your time and attention more than anything else. As a parent, you are your greatest gift that you could ever give to your child. Your children love you more than anything in the world. And for you to give your time and attention to them, that is really all any child ever wants. Even adults, we want to have, the attention and the love of our parents. So some ways to give presents. They don't have to be expensive. They can be free. There are a lot of what you guys have already kind of talked about today in the other presentations, things that are important to children and to people to connect, creating different traditions, including children in your everyday activities. We're all very busy, as we've talked about. We have chores, we have laundry, there's dishes you have to cook, including them in those activities. Creating nighttime routines, very, something special that kids can look forward to every night as part of their bedtime routine. Having a dedicated 10 minutes a day just to listen and to communicate and to connect. Sometimes that could be in the car or it could be at the house, but just wherever it is, it's a dedicated time just for them to listen, including family meals that, you know, everyone's talked about already, and having fun and playing. So creating traditions for holidays. You know, we talked about it just a minute ago about a movie night. So the holidays are a really neat time because there are certain things that you can only watch, you know, in December, you know, kind of Thanksgiving through the December month, where it's a extra special thing. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I always look forward to the Peanuts shows and all the little Santa shows from the 60s that, you know, I grew up watching and then my kids grew up watching. And so we make it into a thing where we all get together and we all watch it and we have popcorn and we snuggle. And it's just a really good, you know, fun thing that you can just kind of take from your childhood and just bring it on to their childhood, and they can take it to their children. And it's a special thing because it only happens, you know, once a year. You can make decorations together. You can use anything to make decorations. You can get things from, you know, the dollar store or things that you already have in the house, pipe cleaners, paper, glue, construction paper, markers, anything. You can create, you know, the chain links that go on the tree and or hanging things on the hearth or the, you know, on the counters, whatever. You can do anything, make anything, but as long as you're doing it together. You can create a special story time just for December. You know, there's that Christmas book or that book about reindeer or whatever it is that is fun for children, and keep it and make it a special book just for December that comes out, and you read it every night in December because it's a big special thing that you get to look forward to every year and create that tradition. Making gifts for grandparents. You know, grandparents love the sentimental. They love to receive things from their grandchildren. Things like handprints and hand-drawn pictures and paintings and, you know, the macaroni art that we've collected over the years from children. Those things are special, and they're really special to grandparents and to parents as well. And it gets the kids really engaged and helps them to really understand what it is that Christmas is all about. It's about caring and from the heart, as opposed to, you know, things that you buy. Making countdown calendars. You know, there's all the countdown calendars that you can purchase, but why not make one? You can make one really easily out of paper and markers and whatever stamp things or paints or anything that you have. It works really well because it helps kids with counting, and they're drawing their letters and their numbers, and it can become an educational piece as well as something that you guys can do together. Writing letters to Santa or whoever your spiritual preference may be, you know, getting together and formulating sentences and talking about how to communicate to someone what it is that you think and feel and how you reflect on the past year, and, you know, fine motor skills and all of that are all included in that. And it's a really fun thing to do. And it's something they only get to do once a year. So it's a great tradition. Decorating the house as a family. You know, pick a day of the year that you decorate. If it's the day after Thanksgiving or the first day of December, or whatever day that is, and create an entire tradition around that. You know, what are you going to listen to Christmas music while you decorate? Are you going to take turns putting things on the tree? You know, how are you going to do that? Creating a whole tradition around that is really fun. The tradition at my house, it sounds kind of weird, but we watch Star Wars while we're decorating the tree, and it's always on the same time of year. But that's what we started doing when my kids were really little, and now that's all they want to do. They have to have Star Wars when they decorate the tree. Create your own traditions. Making ornaments. You can make ornaments out of so many different things in your house, but creating a memory for the year that reminds you of that year. And then you have these ornaments for the whole, you know, on your tree for every year that your kids were little, and you have a whole memory book of different things that you maybe don't think about until you bring out that ornament every year from the tree. You can use paper, you can use clay, you can use all sorts of things, but just, the whole point of it is getting creative, creating something that reminds them of the year that they had, and that can be a tradition year after year. Cooking holiday meals together, baking holiday foods. There's something special about certain things that you make just during the holidays, and that can be a lot of fun. Making holiday cards, the same thing. People love to receive holiday cards, but they even like it more when you hand make those cards. And getting handmade cards that, as a relative that your kids make is really fun. And you can even take it to the next level. What about the folks who are, in nursing homes and don't have family? And those folks getting those cards would just make their day. And creating a tradition of giving and volunteering and of time can be even more special when creating traditions.
Sorry, I advanced, and I think I hopefully I didn't cut out any of your presentation, which could be.
Okay.
It looks like I may have skipped way ahead, but for some reason we have a hard time going back. But
You're
I think
fine, Jenny.
okay.
I think the gist was made. The main focus of it was making sure that you realize that you as a parent are the most important thing, and that your children prefer to spend time with you doing anything at all, as opposed to, getting a gift. And yes, maybe they want the $200 pair of Jordans, but in the end, if you're playing basketball with them, they're going to remember that more than the fact that they got their Jordans. And that's the point I was trying to make.
Well, your point was absolutely made, and I love this, and I know that it's another thing I'm going to pretend is my own, and just the connection between presence instead of presence. That just is so powerful. And Michelle, you really drove that message home so clearly. And I think another major point that I'm hearing is it doesn't take money or going somewhere to create amazing and special traditions in your home. And again, bringing in that fun factor that we heard Lee talk about. And again, all these activities connect us and bring us together. So thank you so much, Michelle. That was a great presentation, and we really enjoyed it. And I hope everyone can see how we're tying this all together today, this morning. We want you to take care of your mental health. We want you to practice mindfulness and caring for yourself and relaxing, but we also want you to connect and create meaningful memories with your children and your family. We also, as part of this, we wanted to create something for all of you, a holiday survival guide. And I cannot take any credit for this. And I don't know, Jessica, if you want to jump on and talk it through a little bit, but this is something that we're going to send out to everybody who registered, and we're going to post it everywhere we possibly can. And we're going to do we're just going to try and get it out to everyone. But I don't know if I know some of the writing looks small, but it really speaks to addressing some of the things you might need over the holidays, or families you work with, or your neighbors, anyone who might need some support over this holiday season. You can go to this holiday survival guide and make those connections.
Absolutely, Jenny. And I thank you and everyone who presented today, because this was phenomenal. And I cannot take credit for this holiday survival guide either. I must give credit to Elizabeth Beers over at Eckerd for pulling this together. They were fantastic in just saying, okay, what do you need? What do you need on here? And really, guys, this is an awesome resource. Yes, you can see at the bottom, once you get it, there are a list of places that not only could you volunteer, but you could have a meal if you are in need of that. There are resources, immediate resources for everyone to be able to access, like Brevard Care's mobile response team. So we want to make sure that if you are in need of help during this time, that you have an immediate resource to get to. So we have made sure we listed everyone who doesn't have waiting lists right now and can really get out to you as quickly as possible. But awesome presentations again. And this did definitely lift my spirit. So.
Me too. I cannot thank everyone enough. And I know that we did promise to give an opportunity if there were any questions. And I know sometimes this is kind of a weird format to do that, but we invite you at this moment, if you can stay on for a few more minutes, to unmute and perhaps ask your question, or if you want to put it in the chat box, you are more than welcome to. And I have to acknowledge Javon Blum. She is managing the chat box, and she was tech support. If I completely fumbled everything, she was going to fix it. So thank you, Javon.
Jenny, you did a great job.
Thank you. You taught me well. So just let us know if there's any questions or anything that we should be commenting on.
No questions so far, just lots of love for all the presenters and the great tips that were shared today.
Yes. And I'm going to be honest with you, part of our focus today was not so much question and answer as it was sort of a gift. Here's a gift. Here's some tools that we want you to have to take away that you can start using today. And you all provided that. Every single presenter gave us something that we can take away. And I just can't tell you how much we appreciate it so much. And I will say this has been recorded, and we will be sharing this far and wide as well, and certainly with our presenters too. Any final words for the good of the group, as they say?
Thank you,
Happy holidays.
ladies.
Happy holidays, everybody. Be
Thank
safe.
you. Thank you, Kevin. Happy holidays to you too. And you're very welcome, everyone. Thank you for participating. And thank you again, presenters. You're
Thank you,
awesome.
everyone.
Bye, Javon. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Have a wonderful week. And I think today's Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah, the first day. Thanks, everybody. I'm gonna sign off. Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye, guys.
you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.